Hello Reformers and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband, and when we left off we had attempted to take Ikimmer from the Khergit Khanate. Now the problem with that was that Sanjar Khan then turned up and he decided to, well, basically ruin the party. So now what we have is a bit of a situation at Malia Castle. As you can see, it has come under siege by Kramuk Noyan and his friend Grainwood. And he is obviously a defector from the Swadians. So I am a little bit worried about this because, well, as you can no doubt see, we are outnumbered rather considerably. Not massively. I think we probably can succeed in this battle, and obviously we need to. We need to make sure that we succeed. Oh, by the way, they have a siege tower. It seems like this is a siege tower. Well, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. I am, obviously, as you can see, still a little bit injured from our little foray into Ikimmer, because obviously I didn't really have an opportunity to rest. They basically went in here as we were retreating away from Sanjar Khan, and I barely had enough time to go into the garrison at Nara and refill some of my troops. Now, I didn't take a full party. I don't know why, but I didn't take a full party for some reason. I really should have, but maybe I was just thinking about prisoners or something like that. I did that before I quit last time, and then I came online and I was like, oh yes, we need to go and defend Malia Castle, of course. And, oh, are we against Khergits here as well? Or are they just killing themselves by jumping off? I think they might be doing that. Are they? I don't see anyone dying over the side there. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, well, never mind. I think we're pretty good here, actually, because for the most part, we have the advantage, because we are, of course, the defenders, and they have a siege tower, which in turn also makes things quite easy for us. But the one problem we are going to have is the fact that we are using basically a cavalry/archer army. We don't have anything else. We just have cavalry and archers. We don't have infantry. We don't have any kind of solid front line. The cavalry are good, but obviously they are mostly good because they are on horses in field battles, and that enables them to be much, much more mobile. They can run around and do all kinds of things and flatten people like pancakes. And now I'm hungry. Now I'm hungry because I mentioned pancakes. Do you like pancakes? I think everyone likes pancakes, right? I mean, most people, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? But maybe you prefer donuts, or maybe you prefer some other kind of baked good. Yes, well, whatever baked good you like, then good on you, because baked goods are always nice. Anyway, we are almost prepared to take these guys, and not in the way that they want. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going there today, apparently. Yes, we are. Oh, Jeremus, what are you doing? Get over here. I should really have a unique tag for him, to be honest. He's literally going to get himself killed. But, on the plus side, he's actually doing a lot of damage. And he just destroyed that Swadian sergeant's or Swadian footman's shield, which is actually pretty cool. I'm actually hoping he's gonna get another kill here, so that I can actually show it on camera. He is attempting to shoot that guy. He got him! He got him, did you see that? He actually did get him. Fantastic. Oh yes, good job, Jeremus. Yes. Good job. Yes, hopefully you'll be able to level up a little bit faster by shooting away there. Yeah, well, anyway, I think once we have eliminated the Khergits, this is the thing. I am saying once we have eliminated the Khergits, it's going to take a little bit of time, isn't it? It's going to take quite a bit of time to eliminate this faction because they are pretty resilient, and obviously Tolga, which is their, well, basically their last town, because personally I count Ikimmer as being taken, to be honest. I personally feel like they don't have, they don't have any defense there. You know, they have no defense there. We should, in theory, have an amazing advantage when we go back to take Ikimmer, as long as Sanjar Khan is not there, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But yes, I think we should have an amazing advantage. Once we head back, we'll probably take it in a very, very swift and quick siege, and then we can give it to one of our vassals. and they can hope to garrison it, and they can in turn become even more powerful, because, as I stated in the previous episode, we did give our vassals more fiefs. I actually gave them the 2 castles that we took previously, and those castles obviously are going to make a huge difference. They are going to make a huge difference to how much they're able to take in terms of units, and it did. It absolutely did. Count Play had 108, and I actually wondered whether he'd be able to gain even more than that, but I declared war before I could even find out. So maybe I should have left it a little bit longer. But, you know, sometimes you just can't wait. You know, you just can't wait. You gotta get back on the horse, as it were. Yeah, you gotta get back on that horse archer. Yeah, because I love pouncing horse archers. I really do. I really do not like horse archers one bit. That is definitely something that I think maybe almost everyone can agree on, that when you're not playing a highly mobile, you know, sort of strike force like the Khergits, for example, if you're not playing as the Khergits, then horse archers are extremely irritating to fight against, because they will always, and I repeat always, be faster than you on the fields of battle, unless you, of course, focus on the same things that they focus on, which is, of course, riding skill and maybe athletics as well if you're on foot, if you're playing an infantry character or something like that. But yeah, for the most part, those guys are always going to grind your gears, because they are literally always going to be one step ahead, you know, and they're going to continually run away from you, those horse archers. And I was about to say Horch. I don't even know what that is, but yeah. Anyway, point is, they're always going to be running away, they're always going to be out of your reach, unless, of course, you are also a horse archer. But, you know, that's basically the thing. You're using fire to fight fire, I suppose you could say. And that's, you know, that's something that I'm not particularly good at. I do have to admit, I am not a good horse archer. Hilariously enough, though, in the episode of Perisno that is actually coming out today, I actually didn't do too badly with shooting from a mount. So that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I was actually kind of surprised, because I had just gained 1 point in horse archery with our character in that series, and it's actually seeming to be a pretty good accuracy bonus. I was actually really surprised, because usually when you only get 1 point in something, you know, it's not going to give you that big a bonus. But it seemed to be enough for me to be able to hit a couple of guys, so it was pretty nice. Anyway, we are almost done here, I think. I'm actually going to get up my... Oh, yeah, take this. Oh, no, I was going to say, take... there we go, take that. Yes. Take that as well. Oh, no, it doesn't seem like I'm actually doing a very good job with my thrown weapons at the moment. These guys are all charging in now. They are all their crossbowmen. All of their crossbowmen are now coming in, which is absolutely fantastic, because these guys are not suited for melee combat, which is really, really good. They are sending in a couple of infantry as well, but you know, they're not really going to do too much, are they? I would love to be able to pilfer a couple of thrown weapons. I'm going to take these javelins. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Oh yeah, take that. Eat it. Eat that headshot. Oh yes, that's what you get. Does it taste good? Does it taste of wood? And yeah, I was literally going to try and find something else to rhyme with that, but that was completely accidental. Very, very accidental. Anyway, it seems like we have prevailed, and, well, why wouldn't we, I suppose? I mean, we have a good amount of Mamluks, we have a good amount of Master Archers. If we had failed to defend against this, I would have been extremely surprised. But, you know, we are playing on the higher modifiers, and that is going to make a difference. You know, that's going to make a difference to how many you lose. And we have lost quite a few. You know, I mean, our allies have lost a bit, and, you know, we've lost quite a few, but for the most part, I think it's just because this is blatantly one of the more difficult sieges because of the obvious. You know, it's the siege tower. The siege tower is the main reason why we were able to do so much damage to the opponent's force before they were even able to get to us. And then when they did get to us, they actually did cause a couple of, you know, a bit of damage. So there is that to take into account, but obviously they just didn't have the finishing power. You know, they didn't have that finishing power that would have enabled them to finish up this siege. But we do have about, what is it now? I think we have about 50 Mamluks and about 40-something Master Archers. So it is no surprise that we were able to defend here, and they only had 6 Swadian Knights. I mean, if they had the same amount of Swadian Knights that we had Mamluks, it would be a very different story. So there you go. Nice. That is a very, very nice win for us. And are we gonna... I was really, really hoping that we'd be able to take at least one of them prisoner, but it seems like we were a bit out of luck there. Oh, well, never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna take some Kurgit Lancers. Where are the Kurgit Lancers? Huh, seems like they don't have any Kurgit Lancers. Well, I'm gonna be taking the Horse Archers instead. And these are not particularly good, are they? I'm gonna take some infantry, I guess. I mean, this is the thing. Why am I even bothering with this? Because these guys are going to probably sell for a maximum of about, what, 2,000? Maybe not even that. And then you just look at my money. Yeah, we're gaining 12,000 or about 15,000. Actually, we gained 17,000 last week in our weekly wages. So I really don't need any money. So yes, me going on about prisoners and their worth is probably not really a big deal, to be honest. But anyway, I'm going to wait here for some time, just to make sure that Malia Castle is back to, you know, back to being at full strength. Who's that? That is Sanjar Khan right there, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Do we want to fight him? This is the thing, okay? I would be fighting him right away if... shall we? Shall we do it? I don't know. This is the thing. If we do this... The only other vassal, or shall we say the only other enemy that we have to worry about is Sabula Noyan. And Sabula Noyan is, of course, a bit of a medium vassal. Like, yeah, he's powerful, he's got a good amount of units, but I don't think he'll be enough to stand against us if we are able to take out Sanjar Khan. And he is raiding a village of ours right now, so I would very much like to prevent him from completing that action. Shall I see if I can... Let's lead him away. Oh yeah, come on, Sanjar Khan. You certainly want to attack me, don't you? Come on, you scoundrel. I bet your mother lays with ogres. Yeah, we're going to insult him. We're going to insult him because we want him to chase us. Ah, there we go. There is the person that I was talking about. Exactly. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that absolutely hilarious how they just turn up when you least expect it? Okay, so he is now going to siege this? Okay, that's very strange. Okay, so let's see actually what happens. They're going to run around together now, aren't they, as well? Okay, so 14,000, there you go. We are gaining a huge amount. I mean, my wages are basically non-existent in comparison to how much money we're making right here, so yeah. This is a very, very solid basis for what we're doing here. Okay, so that's obviously being raided once again. Maybe I can draw both of them away. Are they actually playing together now? Yeah. This is not a co-op game. You awful never mind. You awful people. Okay, well, it seems like my insult did not actually work, which I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed about, to be honest. But what I could do now is I'm actually gonna just go to Ikimmer because they're raiding that. They can just raid that for all they like, and I'm just gonna go to Ikimmer real quick, and we're gonna build this thanks to Lezalit's power with a hammer, because obviously he's gotta, you know, he's gotta build the ladders. So let's do that. Here we go. Thank you very much. I was actually getting a little bit antsy there. I was just like, oh, you know, when is he going to be done? When is he going to be done? Thankfully, he's done. So let's go in. And I don't even know how many people they have here, but I don't really care. We're just going to go straight on in. We're going to charge. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to charge straight on and see what we're up against here. I am a bit... What? I am extremely... Okay. We're not going to charge straight on in. We are not going to charge straight on in, apparently. Or are we? I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know what to do right now, because... This is very... They have 68. When I left it, they had... Not even that. They had 17. But obviously... Oh, yes, okay. I've realized... Okay, I realized what's actually gone on now. So what has happened is... If you also don't understand, or, you know... how I was previously. If you don't understand, basically what it is my Mamluks caused a lot of unconsciousness in the previous episode, and they have all recovered. All of the units that they knocked unconscious, they have all recovered. So that is obviously the biggest problem that we have with using Mamluks. Yeah. So I'm going to try and throw this and try and kill that guy. Yeah, we got him. Yeah, there we go. We got him. That is what we like to see. All right, so let's see if I can... I'm going to try and see if I can... Oh, really, a farmer? I really don't want to use my throwing weapons on a farmer. Thank you very much. Okay, come on. Let's do this. Nice headshot. Yeah, let's do it. There's another lancer. Thank you very much. Yeah, take the... Oh, I was hopeful for another headshot right there, but no such luck. Okay, so yeah, these guys are going to be pretty annoying. And I don't have that many archers. As you can see, I have 10 archers. So, yeah, this is the thing, right? My cavalry are actually at the top of my army at the moment, so that's the reason why I have so many cavalry in here. And this is actually pretty bad. I don't know what I should do. We've already killed 22. So, basically, okay, so... Here's the deal. What we can either do is we can either charge in with our Mamluks right now and just pray and hope that we will be able to survive, or we retreat and do a bit of a smarter thing and be a little bit more cautious and change our archers around in our party and basically make it so that the cavalry comes in last and then we just have a huge amount of archers, and that might be the way to go. But then we risk Sanjar Khan coming over here and interrupting us. But is it a good enough risk to take? Because he might be helping Sabula Noyan to take Malioc Castle, which has now just come under siege. And I think that is a really, really good trade. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that instead, and we're going to see how that goes. So let's build some ladders, and we'll see. Ah, there he is. So Sanjar Khan is right there. We will be unable to continue our action here. But... if you think about it, this might actually work for the best, because... Ah, there's a bunch of vassals there. That's the reason. Look at that. There's a bunch of vassals there. That's the reason why they have 71. Because they still have 18. They still have 18. They have not had enough time to reinforce the garrison, which is absolutely fantastic. So... they seem to all be leaving Ikimmer now as well, but I am going to go to Malia Castle because that is under siege, and I think we can take Sabula Noyan in a field battle. I think we can take him. He only has 12 lancers, which is pretty good. Pretty good for us. 43 Mamluks we have. I think we'll be able to beat him. Yeah, and we did actually take him prisoner. Well, technically we could have taken him prisoner last time, but I let him go. So, yes. He's actually kind of liking us a bit. Now he's not liking us so much, and he does outnumber us, but I have faith that our cavalry will be able to pull out a pretty decent advantage here. So we're going to try our best and get to the top of this hill, because what we want to do is we want to, you know, basically nullify all of their speed and accentuate all of our speed. So hopefully we'll be able to get to the top here and maybe do something good. I don't know whether we should just charge straight on in here. I think charging straight on in here might actually be the best course of action, because we want to protect our archers, you know, and archers against, well, cavalry, and they have a huge amount of cavalry. It's probably the best idea, so I guess I'm just going to charge in here as well and see what we can do. Wow, the Khergits, they ran into each other. Yes, they did. They ran into each other, and that is just great. That is really, really great. Every time I see that, I'm just thanking my lucky stars, because if they didn't run into each other and if they were, you know, maybe a little bit smarter, then things would not go so well for us. But it seems like, yeah, Sabula Noyan is obviously able to, you know, he's able to fight pretty well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him get a couple more kills. Yeah, if we don't see him get a couple more kills, that doesn't make sense. No, it's the other way around. If we see, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get a couple, yeah, get a couple more kills. There we go. That's the right thing to say. Yeah, I do say that. Yeah, I actually saw a pretty funny comment, and I actually saw a pretty funny comment on, I think it is one of the last Perisno episodes actually, and the funny comment was, I said, and I quote, something like, I'm gonna try and wear that horse later, or something along those lines. I'm gonna try wearing that horse later, and it's actually rather amusing because I've done that many, many times where I have gone into my inventory and I've gotten a new horse. I think I did this once, maybe in the native series or maybe in the original Pendor. I still actually do it sometimes just because, you know, sometimes I just kind of, it's just my mind is a little bit weird when it comes to the sort of connections between the gear and the weapons and some of the equipment that you can get in the game. And it's rather amusing because I will sometimes pick up a horse and I'll try and put it in my weapon slot. And I'll try and basically be like, yes, I want to use this horse as a weapon, and it's the same thing with saying, I'm going to wear this horse, because to me, it's equipping something, it's equipping a horse. And equipping a horse is wearing it, right? Equipping a piece of equipment, in other words, armor and weapons and things like that, is wearing it, because it's a piece of clothing or armor or something like that. So that's the reason why I say sometimes, I'm wearing a horse. Obviously, it is a bit of a, I'm not meaning to say it, obviously, but it is rather amusing when that kind of thing happens. I like that. I do like that when that happens, because it's completely unintentional. And those are some of the best moments, in my opinion. That's the reason why I actually think that my original Native series is probably one of the best series on the channel, because it is very organic and very natural, because I haven't played the game before in that series. I'm learning as I go along, and I don't think I do that much off screen. I think I have literally, I don't know, I think I do go off screen a little bit towards like episode 50 or so, because I want to try and level up as many Swadian Knights as possible. I level them up by fighting bandits, and yeah, it took me a long time to do that, like 6 hours, I think, to level up those guys fighting forest bandits. I mean, really, I shouldn't have been fighting forest bandits. I should have fought some vassals or something, because I easily would have been able to beat some. But that is obviously the definition of hindsight, or should I say the benefit. The benefit of having hindsight in that situation is, of course, being able to say now, oh yeah, I should have done this, or I should have done that. But in the grand scheme of things, I actually feel like that series is really enjoyable. And if some of you have seen it, then that's fantastic. And if you haven't, and if you don't want to see it because it is quite old, then, I completely understand. I recommend it. I'm just recommending it because it is actually really good. Maybe I'm just tooting my own horn a little bit too much there, because maybe it is. Maybe it is overrated. I'm actually unsure about that. Oh no. If it's overrated, then I'm sad, because I actually think that it's pretty good, but maybe it's just me. Anyway, I am gaining 9 renown there. That's actually not bad. I'm just going to tell my troops to just charge in there. I don't really mind about losing the master archers. I do have a number of archers back in Nara's garrison that I can level up reasonably easily. They don't take too long. I'm going to let him go, because when the Khergits are defeated, we might have an opportunity to recruit him, and he might join us, and then he'll have a pretty decent relation with us, and that would be really nice. So I'm going to just take all the Swadian units, because they're not going to give us any morale penalties. I can't take any prisoners, of course, because we already have a full amount of those. I'm going to take a hunter horse, and I'm going to swap out a stubborn hunter instead. And we have too many horses. I'm just going to take some horses, and I'm just going to sell them. There we go. That's what we're going to do. All right, so we were able to defend, and we were able to ascertain what's currently going on at Ikimmer. They were able to buffer themselves enough so that I was unable to deal any damage to the actual garrison itself. But that will not stay that way. In the next episode, we will do our very best to take Ikimmer, and then they will be left with only 3 castles. Yes, correction. 3 castles and a town. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.